So if you're into that off-road lifestyle, then you want to make sure you have the adequate equipment that's designed for your platform. Today, we've got our feature brand Stinger coming to the table with a whole slew of different products for different reasons, but all new that you need to know about. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about Stinger, Jeeps, and trucks. And it starts now. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another CMA Connected brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and you are locked into CMA Networks, where we talk mobile electronics day in and day out. Today, of course, is no exception as we welcome the brand Stinger to the show today. And along with that, their director of training, Matthew Palumbo. Now, Matt, it's always a pleasure to have you on the show, but this time you really got a lot of goodies to talk about. So why don't you break out for us exactly what we'll be chatting about?
Yeah, Ben, thanks for having me on. I love doing these connecteds. They're always so much fun. You know, Stinger is so synonymous with the Jeep world. We have really hit some home runs there. But lately, we've been getting really big into trucks as well. I mean, trucks are honestly one of the most popular things on the road these days. So today, we have a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the Stinger Horizon 12. We've got some great under-seat sub-enclosures for some different vehicles out there. We also have a new dash cam option that's built into a mirror, great for capturing all sorts of footage from your latest adventure. And if you're into great audio in your Jeep or truck, we also have some cool stuff from PAC to talk about.
Well, as promised, we've got a long list of new product to discuss, but first, an opportunity for our partner, SiriusXM, to remind you dealers out there why it's always a fantastic add-on sale. And when we come back, we got Matthew Palumbo from Stinger. Don't you dare go away.
Hey, Paul here with SiriusXM, and I'd like to talk to you about attachment selling and why the SiriusXM product is one of the best things to add, especially since we don't trade dollars with any other category. I could go through all of this, but let's hear what some of our dealers have to say.
It's an easy add-on that takes, 10, 15 minutes if we're running an antenna, 1 minute if we've got an adapter to plug it into the factory SiriusXM antenna, and it's extra money, so no brainer.
I present it to every customer because a lot of customers don't know what all they can do with Sirius. They don't know what all content they could have. It just makes too much sense not to sell it.
It creates a different customer loyalty and customer security when you explain to them why it's a better experience. Just gets them back in the door. And then the next car, they're already asking for it again. So it just keeps selling itself. It makes more sense.
Well, there you have it. You heard from our dealers. Just remember some of the best practices. Make sure you have one on display so you can demo it. Make sure you're taking advantage of our rewards program, because if you're not taking advantage of that, you're leaving even more money on the table. Make sure you got our POP up on display. And other than that, just make sure you're recommending it.
Hey, Matt, great to have you on the show again today. Thanks for being here. Listen, you said it right there in the beginning. Stinger has had a long history in making Jeep owners happy, right? Coming up with different solutions, different products, lighting, audio, all that type of stuff. But in the ever-evolving world of Jeeps and trucks, for that matter, it seems to be like the forces are against us, right? Like these vehicles are coming out and there just seems to be more and more obstacles. I just want to hear, like, these are challenges that real-time challenges that Stinger have to deal with, right, when developing product.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, whether it's, how am I going to fit great audio in this vehicle, or how am I going to upgrade the screen in my dash, or, hey, maybe the screen in my dash is great, but I just want, better sound. There's so many challenges in these late model Jeeps and trucks. And luckily at Stinger, we have a whole host of brands and companies and some amazing people on our team that are up to the task of, kind of cracking the code and getting us the best performance out of all the different aspects of our Jeeps and trucks.
Well, one thing I will say is, like you said, it almost like Stinger has the Swiss Army knife of tools to go to, right? Depending on the situation. What I mean by this, when Stinger, most people relate to Stinger as the accessory company. Yeah, a little bit of lighting as well, but really solutions. But then you think about PAC, right? Full integration solutions. Then you think about audio control that came into the fold. Now you're delivering, speakers and drivers and amplifiers and that kind of thing. And then, of course, there's that whole ADAS portion of it that really comes into play. So what I'm saying here is Stinger really does have a well-rounded portfolio to kind of develop these type of solutions.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if it's cameras, we have EchoMaster. If it's audio integration, we have PAC Audio. If it's audio products, we have audio control for speakers, amps, subs. If it's source units or screens, we've got Stinger with the Horizon lineup. Like, we've pretty much got our bases covered. And if it's accessories or lighting, we've got Race Sport for that as well. I mean, we've got, I don't want to say we have it all, but we kind of have it all.
Yeah, you really kind of do, and
Yeah.
there's no arguing that. All right, so today you've kind of met the challenge. I gave you a challenge. I said, okay, Matt, you're coming on to Connected. We're going to talk about like 4 items. What you guys are going to notice is that we've kind of selected 4 different items in 4 different categories, right? We're going to talk about the new Horizon 12 application that just got dropped. If you haven't seen the CMA live on that, make sure you check that out. We're talking about an underseat solution for newer model Gladiators, which is kind of cool. And then you're talking about a DVR mirror, which I don't know anything about, so I'm excited to hear about that. And my personal favorite, I think we're going to save for the end. Guys, if you're wondering about integrating into late model Ford B&O as well as GM with Bose, definitely stick around till the end because we got a big announcement for you. On that note, Matt, I'm going to let you have it. Why don't you bring out our first product? Talk to us about this Horizon 12 Jeep kit that was just announced.
Yeah, Ben, our first product on the list today is this amazing Horizon 12 unit from Stinger, but it's not just the Horizon 12. This is a Horizon 12 that's been totally kitted out and ready to go for your Jeep JL or JT. I mean, we are talking Jeeps and trucks today, right? So this is right up that alley. This is the SRX JW 18128. And basically what this is a Horizon 12 source unit. This is our 12.8-inch display. In this vehicle, it's set horizontally or landscape mode. And what we've done is integrated this into a totally new dash bezel, because in that vehicle, you know, those round air vents are so close together next to that small factory screen that there's just only so much real estate there to work with. And so what we've done is, you know, totally reinvented and reimagined that dash bezel, integrated our 12.8-inch display into it, and then molded in new vents for the end user so that it looks more like a factory experience. It's fantastic. Not only does it come basically pre-assembled, all the wiring is done for them, and all the PAC modules needed are integrated and included in the box. So this not only gives you your wireless CarPlay, your Android Auto, your premium audio performance with 8 channels of RCA output and DSP control and all that. This also is going to give us you know, control over external accessories like external RGB dynamic lighting, for external accessories like light bars or air horns or whatever other accessories they may have. It also is going to fully integrate. And when I say full integration, I mean climate controls are coming up on the screen. We have control over, you know, viewing the vehicle pages, off-road pages with, you know, tilt and steering angle, all that stuff that's important when you're out on the trail. On top of that, though, something we get asked a lot by Jeep owners is, hey, I hear that the camera on my Jeep is some special digital camera. Can you guys integrate with that? And the answer is yes. These kits not only retain that factory digital Jeep camera, we actually feed that in through the HDMI input, which is cool. Well, but then you might lose your HDMI input. Maybe you wanted it, right? Our kit does use the HDMI input for that factory camera, but we still give you an available HDMI as well. So you're not losing anything. It's so, so cool. You know, factory steering wheel controls work. Everything works. It's just the best you could get for your Jeep.
You know, quite frankly, Matt, the list of features for this new Horizon is pretty much long enough to do its own episode of Connected. However, there are 3 points I wanted to point out that I think our listeners will be really appreciative of. Number one, this is for Jeep. And should we not mention that this kit, this radio, is actually weather resistant. So don't worry, guys, if you're caught with the rain and the top off, no problem. This is absolutely perfect for that. But more so than that, if you're serious about audio and not just to get that bigger screen and not just to get those cool buttons and that Apple CarPlay, this is a serious audio performer as well. And Matt, I want you to speak to a little bit about its audio performance.
Yeah, Ben, you're absolutely right. I mean, these Stinger Horizon 12 radios are absolutely a top performer when it comes to audio. So not only do we have the 8 channels of 4.5 volt RCA output, that's right, not 6, but 8. So you can actually do an active front stage in your Jeep. You know, you can amplify, crossover, and EQ and time correct those top dash speakers separate from those lower dash speakers. You also have a Toslink optical output, which in itself is not that unique, but it is a volume variable Toslink optical out. So you can still use your steering wheel controls you can still use that beautiful aluminum volume knob on your Horizon unit. And the fact that it's weatherproof is just, the cherry on top. Like Ben mentioned, I mean, it's fantastic that it can get wet. How cool is that? You don't have to worry about it with the top off. It's also anti-glare. It's an optically bonded display. I mean, it's perfect for the off-road and Jeep market. But back to the audio performance, not only do we have that optical out, let's say you are ready to take the next step and add a true external DSP or DSP amplifier. Well, if you use an audio controlled DSP or DSP amp, this Horizon unit will directly control it. And not just control it, you can actually do 100% of the setup and tuning from your Horizon radio right there in the dash. That means you don't need a laptop, a tablet, a cell phone. You don't need anything else. If you have an audio-controlled DSP-enabled product and a Stinger Horizon radio, you can plug them directly into each other. It's a hardwired connection, not wireless, and it works beautifully. It connects every time. It's not a watered-down experience either. This is 100% of the DM Smart DSP software that just lives natively right on the deck. It is incredibly cool and makes this such a powerful unit.
All right, Matt, thanks for giving us some details about the Horizon 12, especially for this new kit going into the Jeep. And we're going to stay on the Jeep track because it's great to have a great source unit, but we need some bass. Now, we all know when it comes to the Gladiator, there's not a whole lot of space. And if anything, that Jeepers hate is taking up what little precious space they have. However, somehow the folks at Stinger have figured out how to integrate a full-out dual 8-inch enclosure to somehow magically fit into a Gladiator. Let's find out how.
Yeah, Ben, I mean, if you drive a Jeep Gladiator, you already know space is at a premium in these things. And if you were thinking you're just going to take a slim sub box and slide it in there somewhere, it's really not all that simple. So between Stinger and Audio Control, we came up with the TX JT D8. Now, this is a full fiberglass enclosure, fits under the back seat of your Gladiator, and has two of our Spike series 8-inch high output woofers. And they're a down firing design. So the woofers are facing down, port is firing back. It is tons of bass in a little tiny amount of space under the back seat of your Gladiator.
Well, first of all, hats off to the engineers at Stinger to even make this happen and make this even an option. But let's get into a little bit more details now. Let's talk about the installation, like what comes in the kit, how does it mount up? Is it weather resistant? That's kind of important, as we just discussed with the source unit. And what kind of power are we actually talking about?
Yeah, Ben, those are all great questions. And on this enclosure, again, I mean, it was specifically designed for the Gladiator. This was not a universal enclosure that we just found out fits or anything like that. This was designed specifically for this vehicle. And our R&D department spent a lot of time figuring out, hey, which way should the woofers fire? Do they fire down? Do they fire up? Or which way? We determined that a down firing enclosure with that backwards firing port gives us the most output. It also helps protect the woofers. Speaking of protection, this enclosure, although it is a full fiberglass box and it is internally braced for strength and structural rigidity, it's also coated in Stinger's Roadkill armor coating. So it kind of looks like bed liner spray, but it's got a much nicer texture. But that also helps with any sort of reducing any sort of unwanted resonance in the enclosure. And on top of that, it makes it weather resistant. And because the woofers are firing down, you really don't have a lot to worry about. When it comes to install, it comes with factory style brackets that bolt up to factory mounting points. So you're not drilling any holes, you're not having to, cut anything or anything like that. And when it comes to wiring, not only does it have your standard terminal, but it also has something that we include on every audio control enclosure, which is our XT90 quick connector. This comes with a little pigtail that plugs in. It's a really nice, clean way to do your wiring connection. And then if for any reason you ever need to take the enclosure out, you don't just have loose wires rolling around in your Jeep. It also makes sure they could never touch together or anything like that. And you can never plug it in backwards, which is genius. So between all those features, I mean, this really is the perfect enclosure for your Jeep. As far as power goes, these woofers are rated to handle up to 500 watts each. So we say ideal power range on this enclosure, somewhere in that 750 to 1,000 watts range. And wouldn't you know it, we have several amplifiers from Audio Control that are that exact amount of power.
Now, at the top of the show, we promised that we're going to give you a diverse selection of different new products coming to you from Stinger in every category. We talked about a source unit. We talked about an enclosure solution for Gladiator. Now we're going to kind of go into that ADAS world because that's kind of important as well. A lot of Jeep users want that, dash cam style DVR functionality. But again, not a lot of space to work with. What solution has Stinger come up with for this application?
Yeah, Ben, this is a really cool brand new product from Stinger. We literally just released this. This is the STR 4K. And what this is a 9.66-inch full screen display built into a mirror. So this is one of those displays that wraps all the way to the edges. And what this does is basically gives us a dual camera system. So this has a camera built into the back that's facing out your windshield, and it has an additional camera that of course can go on the rear of the vehicle, or you could even use that camera inside the vehicle if you wanted to get more of a coverage of inside and maybe out the side windows. So what this will do is, of course, record. It also has some cool ADAS features built in as far as, alerting you when the vehicle in front of you starts to take off at a stoplight, things like that. Built-in G sensor, built-in DVR. You have all the options you could want as far as setup, etc., right on the touchscreen, right on the mirror. And then resolution-wise, the front camera is a 4K camera and the rear camera is 2K. You can change those if you want more recording time, but up to 2K on the rear, 4K on the front. So you have crystal clear image quality. It's such a nice looking mirror. It literally looks, like a factory option. And what I think is really cool is, as far as vehicle specific stuff goes, we actually have vehicle specific mounts for not only Jeep Wranglers and Gladiators, we also have mounts for Ford Broncos and the older Jeep JK Wranglers as well. So we have basically all your options covered for Jeeps as well as Broncos, or you could even use this as a universal.
All right. Now, I promised from the beginning of the show that we would save the best for last because I feel this next announcement is an absolute game changer, especially for the truck category. Now, we all know that we are always seeing these two vehicles, a late model Ford F-150s with B&O, as well as the latest GM models with Bose. Well, guess what, guys? PAC has come to the table with a solution in their Ampro kits. And with more detail, I'm going to pass it back to Matt.
Yeah, Ben, you're absolutely right. I mean, audio control, Stinger, PAC, we are nothing if not all about audio. And how do we get great sounding audio out of some of these late model vehicles? I mean, it's become a real challenge, especially, back in the day, an F-150 was a pretty easy vehicle. You would smile when you saw one pull into your parking lot at the stereo shop. But these days, a late model F-150 can be a real challenge for a lot of techs, especially when equipped with that B&O sound system. So the latest releases from PAC Audio from the Stinger camp, this is the AP4 FD32. This is for your late model Ford vehicles equipped with B&O. This is basically going to be 25 on up. And this is your Bronco Sport, F-150, 250, 350, Ford Ranger, Ford Maverick. I mean, literally some of the most popular vehicles on the road, especially from the Ford camp. And so what this does, for those that don't know, it's a T-harness. It's a miraculous little black box module. And what it does is it just gives you clean, full range outputs, and you don't have to worry about a thing. There's no all pass filters to contend with. There's no factory equalization or crossovers, none of that stuff, no bass roll off, none of that you have to contend with. It gives you the same outputs as if you had a high quality aftermarket radio installed. It takes all the guesswork out and it takes all the signal manipulation out of the question. And so the other side of an Amp Pro is that you can also do a Toslink optical audio output. So not only do you have high quality RCAs, you also have a Toslink out if you're going to do a DSP. I don't know, maybe an audio controlled DSP, shameless plug. On the GM side of things, we also have the new AP4 GM81. Now the AP4 GM71 has been out for a while, and that covers us up to about 2025 on your super popular Bose equipped GM vehicles, your Silverados, your Sierras, your Tahoes, Yukons, etc. Those are all covered by these two modules, the 71 and now the recently released or announced GM 81. This is going to be your 24 to 25 Blazer EV, your 23 to 25 Chevy Colorado, the Silverado EV, 25 and up Suburban and Tahoe and the Traverse. I mean, again, super popular vehicles from the GM factory. And what these will do is same idea, T-harness, little black box of magic that you're putting in. And it's going to give you your RCA outputs as well as a toss link if you want it, or either or. And it just takes all the guesswork out of getting amazing sound quality out of some of the most challenging vehicles out there. They're not going to be as inexpensive as a basic LOC, but that old saying of you get what you pay for absolutely holds true. Ampro is the way to go. And one final note, my favorite feature of PAC Ampro modules, regardless of which one, is that they don't require any sort of flashing or programming. You literally take it out of the box, plug it in. Not only does it T-harness into the vehicle, we also give you a harness that plugs in and breaks out all your speaker wires, and they're even labeled for you. So every speaker in the vehicle has a wire now coming out with a nice heat shrunk label, ready for you to wire it into your aftermarket amplifier. In the world of tough OEM integration, I don't think there's anything out there quite like PAC Ampro. So check out those AP4 models, man. There's nothing else like it.
And that was Stinger's Matt Palumbo joining us today for our Connected, all about Jeeps and truck solutions. For any more information on any of the items covered on today's show, make sure you check out their website found at stingersolutions.com. Now, no doubt about it, this was a pretty exciting session because we've got to cover not only new product, but relevant products, stuff that's coming into your shop right now, solutions that are going to help you get ahead and make customers happy. If you're a DIYer, you're an enthusiast, you should rejoice as well. I want to circle back to that Horizon 12. Ever since they came out with that unit, I think it demonstrated tremendous improvement on their first source unit attempt. I think it's absolutely loaded with all the features and more that people are looking for. Again, we could do a whole session just on that, but great to see that they're applying that now to applications that honestly, it fits so well, it's hard to tell that it's not factory. Of course, the Gladiator sub box, absolutely cool. The dash cam, again, a great solution. But man, what can I say about the new Ampro for Ford with B&O and GM with Bose? I can't tell you how many times I read about this or hear about this. There's a solution now. No, it's not inexpensive, but like Matt said, you get what you pay for, and you can finally take advantage of these premium platforms and upgrade that sound just the way you want. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.